Once a year, Davos in Switzerland hosts the World Economic Forum. This small Swiss skiing town, 5,000 feet up in the Alps, becomes home to the global power players, presidents, prime ministers, chief executives and billionaires. Hundreds and hundreds of them descend here to meet, to talk and to make big decisions. Now, as Europe's economies continue to falter, Asian countries are looking to step up and take advantage in 2025. One of those countries is Malaysia, and I sat down with its Prime Minister, Anwar Ibrahim. Prime Minister, welcome to One on One. I want to begin by asking you about Donald Trump's return to power in the United States. What does that mean for a country like Malaysia?
Well, this is a period of slight uncertainty, so we expect some minor turbulence in global affairs. But from his statements, of course, very protectionist. He wants purely to focus on the United States of America. But I believe that this will probably settle down after a few months, because most of his colleagues, advisors, are all international players, global corporate players who has much interest in the United States as much as overseas. And any policy which is deemed to be not conducive for free trade will affect, of course, the region, including ASEAN and Malaysia, but also United States. So I think after a few months of these minor shocks, I think things will settle down quite a bit.
There's been a lot of talk this week about potential trade wars, tariffs being put in place. What would something like that mean for your country?
As a policy, notwithstanding the United States position, of course we object, because for the last many decades, the West have been preaching about free trade. And now when emerging economies appears to be able to establish themselves, strong footing, and suddenly you impose these tariffs. So I, as a matter of principle, would object to this, but then we'll have to weather the storm. So we, in Malaysia, for example, and our colleagues in ASEAN, we are encouraged to have, to continue to have excellent bilateral relations with the United States and China, which is a very important economic player now, giant in the region, and to enter to EU and other countries. Turkey is important, and other India and Australia. So I think broadening the base. That's why we have applied to join BRICS to be able to be an effective trading nation.
Prime Minister, a lot of talk now about a trade deal between Malaysia and the European Union. What would that do for your country's economy?
Malaysia has been a trading nation. We have benefited immensely from series of FTAs from the 80s, 90s. We have entered into this new FTA, CPTPP arrangement with the United Kingdom, which is a remarkable feat, because it will lend a base for us to negotiate with the EU. It has been stalled for some time, but we are committed, and I've discussed this with President Antonio and colleagues in the EU, so that we can have this FTA, EU FTA negotiations with Malaysia on a fast-track basis.
So, Prime Minister, just to sum up, 2025, you see it as a big year of opportunity. There will be some initial shocks because of Trump, but ultimately you think the markets will calm down.
Well, those who have been following geopolitics have been used to these shocks quite regularly, from Gaza to Ukraine, and now to the new domestic policies of Trump. But I think, I still believe in the ingenuity of the people, the wisdom to be able to navigate and maneuver, because finally and ultimately, it is the people that matter. We have to make sure the policies would benefit the nation and the people.
I want to ask you about the Gaza ceasefire. Your country has been a very vocal and strong supporter of the Palestinian people. How important is it now that that ceasefire holds?
Malaysia has been very consistent from the beginning against colonization, for peace and justice, irrespective whether it is Gaza or anywhere else in the world. And Gaza was the most tragic, because the atrocity is totally unacceptable to the extreme of dehumanization and degradation of men and women. And so that's why we have come up very strongly, and we welcome certainly the initiative of the United States, Qatar, Egypt, to broker this deal with the support of many countries, Arab countries, Muslim countries, and the international community, including some countries in Europe. So I think we welcome this. It is important that we put enough pressure so that we can sustain this peace. The first phase seems to be quite reassuring, although we have seen some undesirable actions on the part of Israel to try and frustrate this deal. But I believe if the international community, particularly the main players, United States, Qatar and Egypt, continue to put pressure on both parties, we'll be able to achieve peace.
A lot of discussion now will turn towards rebuilding Gaza. Reconstruction and the international community support is vital. What will Malaysia do?
Well, we hope, and we have raised this issue quite a number of times to many of our colleagues, both in the East and the West, that they must show some serious commitment, not pious platitudes about reconstruction, because you have condoned this massive destruction for a long time, and it takes a lot of effort and commitment on the part of the international community. Prime Minister Ishiba of Japan, for example, has taken this initiative, has asked me to join his effort for East Asia. So he is asking Japan and Malaysia to co-chair an East Asian initiative for the reconstruction of Gaza. Of course, we will support this. We will support other initiatives of Arab neighbors, international community, United Nations, UNRWA, which is reassuring, because in my discussions with the Belgian Prime Minister and President of EU, they think that all these mechanisms must take place to ensure a fast, speedy, just resolution, including reconstruction of Gaza.
And next month, Prime Minister, your country will welcome President Erdogan of Turkey for a visit. Just talk me through that relationship and how important it is, the economic benefits you would see for both countries.
It was extremely important because he's a great friend of mine and my family, so we welcome him and Sister Amina to Malaysia as a family friend, but because we will have to focus too on very strategic partnership in terms of economic programs, policies or projects, defense, cultural, and I think I look forward to very much to this meeting, and we have put in place series of subjects which could showcase very important relations between Malaysia and Turkey.
Prime Minister, thanks for your time today.